Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're basically playing the role of architects. We're going to take a top-down tour through the absolute powerhouse that is the technical structure of Ollama. Now, if you've been keeping up with the crazy pace of AI right now, you already know that actually getting these models deployed and accessible is half the battle. So we're going to crack open the blueprint and see exactly how Ollama's structure solves those exact challenges. Let's just dive right in. All right, here's our structural blueprint for today. We'll look at the Ollama architecture. Then we'll check out interfacing with the CLI and API, jump into infrastructure, comparing cloud versus offline, explore the privacy framework, and finally wrap up with some trending open models. Section 1, the Ollama architecture, building with open models. Okay, starting at the 10,000-foot view. The whole mission here is giving you the power to build with open models. But what makes this foundation so incredibly solid is the dual deployment approach. You can spin these models up right on your own local computer, or you can run them up in the cloud. And honestly, the best part for us developers, it's completely free to start. It totally removes that upfront friction, letting you put AI compute exactly where you need it. Moving right along to Section 2, interfacing CLI and API, the surface level. So let's step down a level and look at the actual front doors to this tech. It really is a masterclass in simplicity. The command line interface, or CLI, makes pulling these open models into your day-to-day workflow almost effortless. You just pop open the Ollama CLI and boom, you can instantly launch agents. The docs specifically call out heavy hitters like Claude Code, Open Code, and Hermes Agent. By setting it up this way, Ollama isn't forcing you to learn some clunky new environment. You seamlessly plug these models into the tools you are already using. But hey, what if you're building something a bit more custom? Well, the structure doesn't just end the terminal. If you need to build deeper integrations, their API acts as the perfect programmatic gateway. You can wire up your favorite code editors or development frameworks straight to the models through the Ollama API. So instead of AI just being this separate app sitting on your desktop, it becomes a native integrated piece of your own software architecture. All right, Section 3, infrastructure, cloud versus offline, the deployment environment. Now, looking at where the actual compute happens, we see two very distinct paths. On one side, you've got the cloud infrastructure, with models hosted in specific global regions, namely the United States, Europe, and Singapore. That's perfect for distributed teams or if you're just running a lightweight machine. But on the flip side, we have the disconnected infrastructure. This structural choice lets you sever the cord completely and run offline. It's a really smart dual-path setup that handles both high-traffic web needs and strict local-only requirements. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, the privacy framework, what we like to call the data vault. Look, whenever we talk about AI, data privacy is the massive elephant in the room, right? Well, Ollama tackles this head-on with a hard-coded foundational rule. Your data is never trained on, period. It means that whether you're pinging one of those cloud regions we just talked about, or you're running totally local, your data is yours. You are definitely not secretly acting as free training material for their next model update. And to really see how serious this privacy framework is, let's circle back to that disconnected mode. The explicit definition here is running entirely offline for mission-critical work. For the absolute highest level of security, the architecture fully supports an air-gapped approach. So if you're working on highly sensitive, strictly confidential stuff, you can isolate it entirely from the internet. The model runs locally on your own silicon, and literally nothing leaves the building. To back that up even further, this whole privacy framework is structurally reinforced by being fully open. And what does that actually mean here? It means they provide open model weights and open source code. You don't just have to blindly trust them that your data is safe. Because of this structural transparency, you or anyone in the community can look right under the hood and independently verify the code. Honestly, that inspectability is a crucial pillar for building real trust with enterprise and solo developers alike. And finally, Section 5, trending open models. Let's step into the engine room. So we've mapped out the architecture and the privacy vault. Now let's look at the actual engines powering this whole structure. This table is a great snapshot of the heavy hitters currently driving the platform. Notice how each model packs its own distinct features. For instance, GLM 5.2, DeepSeek V4 Flash, and Kimi K3 all support cloud deployment, tool use, and thinking capabilities. But check out Kimi K3. It actually adds vision into the mix too. And definitely pay attention to that last updated column. We're looking at updates from just a week to a month ago. That tells you this engine room isn't gathering dust. It's actively maintained, incredibly specialized, and moving fast. Just to put things into perspective, let's isolate one specific number from that table, 356,000. That is the poll count for DeepSeek V4 Flash alone. When you see a massive number like that, you really start to grasp the sheer scale at which the community is adopting this tech stack. Over 1/3 of a million polls for one single model, and it was updated literally a week ago. This isn't just some fringe hobbyist tool. This is a highly robust structure propping up a massive active developer base. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a structural provocation to chew on. We've seen how Ollama combines open weights, huge developer adoption, and the ability to run completely disconnected. So, with powerful open models running entirely offline for your mission-critical work, is the era of mandatory cloud AI over? Think about what that actually means for the future of your own workflows, your data privacy, and how you architect your very next project. Thanks for taking this tour of the Ollama tech structure with us. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.